Hey guys, Joe Nichols, the Mountain Man, and you're watching Arkie Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a wiring install for a air compressor so I can air up and air down. I just recently purchased this from another local YouTuber, Carol from Fast Rack Overland, kind of hooked me up with this. He had it wired for a Anderson plug, so that's what we're going to be doing today on Arkie Outdoors. We're going to be wiring up an Anderson plug in the front of my truck, so I do not have to open my hood and hook it to the battery. I can just plug directly into it. It's a brilliant idea, Chris. Thanks for doing that. And let's get started. Here's a few things that you might need, or you probably will need. Some are probably optional, but and there may be other ways to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take you guys along with me to do that. So here is the Moab or MOAB Easy Inflate. I have not tried this out yet, but I know Chris used it 2-3 times. Said it was absolutely fantastic. It actually came with a small hose, and it was set up to plug in on the battery. Like I said, he changed it over to an Anderson plug, so that is what we're going to be doing today. But it did come with an inflator and a tire checker, just if you want to check your tires. This is part of that package. So here's a couple things you're definitely going to need today. You're going to need some kind of wire, and when I got on Amazon or did my research stuff for the Anderson plugs, it recommended 8-gauge wire. This came as a set. I'll put the link below. I don't remember the cost of it. I want to say it was like $15 or $20. And the Anderson plugs, 2 of them with all the pins, was around $9 or $10. I like the heat shrink. I think it looks a lot nicer and neater. And I just picked that up at Lowe's. And I also picked these up, the hook to the battery. This comes from the local parts store here in town. You're going to need something to cut your wire and something to strip it with. My battery terminals that I'm going to be connecting to is a 12mm, so you're going to need some kind of a 12mm where it's open in, or a ratchet. I just happen to have this tool. I used to build deer stands, and this is what I use to crimp the connectors. It's going to work really, really well crimping these. And then you're going to need some kind of a source to melt the heat shrink. Say hello to my little friend. Okay, yeah, I agree. That's too much. That's too much. But this one will work just fine. But even with this, you don't want to hold it directly on it because you don't want to damage the work you just did. All right, guys, let's get started on this, and I'm going to move everything around to the front. We're going to start measuring the length of wire we need, getting the pin connectors on, and getting this installed in our truck today. All right, so this heat shrink is a little longer than I believe I need, so I'm going to cut this in half, just like that. I've already stripped back the end of the wire. You want to twist this a little bit. Put the heat shrink on first, and then we're going to slip the little pin for the Anderson plug on. This is proving to be a little harder than I thought it would be. There we go. All right, now we're headed in the right direction. And once again, that's very difficult to do one-handed. But I believe I've got it. I'm going to run these together, put them inside the tube, take a little black electrical tape, go around them to hold them nice and neat. And then I'm going to run the plug down through to where I want it to come out on my bumper. And then I'm going to cut the length that I need to hook it to the battery. It's really a pretty simple install. All right, guys, let's get back to it. I'm going to move you around to the front of the truck now. I got the Anderson plug on, heat shrunk, and I've run it through just some wiring harness cable that I had. It's like a housing that I've had laying around from another project. It's a little bit too small, but I think it'll be fine. I put some electrical tape around it about every 4 or 5 inches to kind of help hold it in. I didn't want to cut this wire and waste any of it, so I'm going to run it down through and behind the radiator through some hoses and out a hole, and I'm going to run it to where I'm going to mount it on the inside of the rubber part of the bumper, or the plastic part of the bumper. And then we're going to run it up to the battery, and we're going to cut the length and then add the connectors for that. I gave in. I cut the wires way too long, and run them through backwards because that plug was being quite difficult to get through the tight spot. So this is where I'm at, and I've got the wiring here to the top. So this is my positive. I'm going to give a little bit of slack in case I need to adjust this. And I'm going to run this on and over, and it's going to come over here to my negative. And then put those connectors on with the heat shrink. This plug should be ready to use. Chris, on his bumper, has a mount where this is mounted solid. And I don't have that. I didn't order it. Wasn't thinking when I ordered it. So this is just going to hang here for right now. I do have a plug to go on to keep dirt and grime and mud out of it. But for right now, it's just going to hang right here. And then when I reorder from Amazon again, I'll order that mounting bracket. All right, guys. Hey, I want to interrupt this video. There was something very important I failed to do. I had thought about it. I talked about it, but somehow missed it. A friend of mine brought it to my attention. And so I went back and I've now corrected it. I'm going to show you what that is right now. Okay, I did not put an inline fuse in on the positive side for my Anderson plug. So I have now done that. It has been heat shrunk and everything done. Cable's cut, all put back together. And so all I got to do now is bolt it back up. Disconnect it from the battery to do that. And I put a 25 amp fuse in. Anyway, I wanted to make sure you guys knew to do that. That was my bad, and I wanted to correct that. So anyway, back to the regular video now. Positive on the positive, negative on the negative. All right, let's plug this thing in and see what we got. Okay, plugged in. Switch is on. Sit you guys down here on the ground. .6, 39.9, 40.2, that's close enough. Well, guys, looks like it's working perfectly. That wasn't too hard to install at all, actually. I just, like I said, I bought the stuff from Amazon. I'll put the links below. Guys, thanks for watching, and this has been the install on the Anderson plug for my truck for my air up, air down system. So thanks for watching, guys. You know I love you. I'll see you on the flip side, and maybe I'll see you somewhere in the great outdoors. And remember, not all who wanders is lost.